All right, question number 3 says the diagram below shows 4 shapes, P, Q, R, and S on a square grid. And so we've seen everything. So let's just see what we're asked to do. So the first thing we're asked to do is to describe the single. So the A for AI says, or sorry, A says, describe fully the single transformation that maps shape P onto shape IQ. What transformation maps the shape P onto Q? All right, just by looking at this, I'm thinking rotation. Well, I'm sure it's a rotation. The transformations that you have to know are translation, reflection. This is clearly not a reflection. Is translation, reflection, rotation, and enlargement. This is not an enlargement. It is not a reflection. The only thing I can think of is a rotation. So we just need to describe the rotation that maps P onto Q. All right, by looking at it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw straight line connecting corresponding points. So this line connects corresponding points on the object and the image. So in other words, this point here became this point. The first point is on the object, the second point is on the image. All right. All right, so I can tell you what it looks like to me. First of all, it looks like a rotation, and it looks like it's a 180-degree rotation. And it also looks as if this point here is the center of the rotation. So in answering this question, I would say that the shape P is mapped onto Q by a rotation of 180 degrees about the point seven as center. All right, now with a 180-degree rotation, you don't have to give a direction. With a 180-degree rotation, you don't have to give a direction. All right, so let's go back to it. So we're seeing that what? The shape P became the shape what? Q by a rotation of 180 degrees about this point here. So this point here is the center of rotation, and that point is the point 7, 7. All right, so we want to describe fully the single transformation that maps P onto R. We want to describe the single transformation that maps P onto R. All right, looking at this, it looks to me that P is mapped onto R by a reflection. Now, when you're describing a reflection, you need to know the mirror line. Now, the mirror line is always in the dead middle between the object and the image. So looking at this, it looks as if this is the mirror line. So this is the mirror line. Let's see which line that is. So this is the line, the mirror line is the line X is equal to 1. Now in a reflection, the object and the image are the same distance from the mirror line on either sides of the mirror line. So you can notice that both of them are what? These corresponding points are what? Both 2 units from the mirror line. So the mirror line is in the dead middle between the object and the image. So now I can say that that the shape P is mapped onto the shape R by a reflection in the line X is equal to 1. So X is equal to 1 is the mirror line. So the next thing we want to know is we want to describe the transformation that is going to map P onto S. So let's get back to this, get back to the diagram. All right, looking at this, I can clearly see that if you're going to map P onto S, this has the transformation that maps P onto S must be an enlargement. Now, for an enlargement, the first thing you need to do is you must find the center of enlargement. Now, to find the center of enlargement, you need to draw two straight lines through corresponding points on the object and the image. So this point corresponds to this point. So I'm going to draw a straight line through both of them. All right, so that's straight line number 1. So to identify the center of an enlargement, you have to draw two straight lines through corresponding points on the object and the image. Now, this point here corresponds to this point. There are corresponding points on the object and the image. So I'm going to draw a straight line, both of them. Now, anywhere the two straight lines meet, that is my center of enlargement. Anywhere the two straight lines meet, that is my center of enlargement. So the center of enlargement appears to be the point 7, 11. So after I find the center of enlargement, I also need the scale factor. So to fully describe an enlargement, you need to know the scale factor. Now, the scale factor K is the length of one side on the image. So let us say the length of this side. The length of one side on the image. So the length of this side is 2 units over the length of the corresponding side on the object. The corresponding side is here, and the length of the corresponding side is 1. So K is equal to length of one side. All right, that's not going to work. K is equal to the length of one side on the image. All right, we got a length already. That is 2 over the length of the corresponding side on the object, which is 1. K is equal to 2 divided by 1, which is 2. So now I can describe it. I can say that the shape P is mapped onto the shape S by an enlargement center 7, 11 and scale factor equal to 2. So when you're describing whenever describing an enlargement, you need the center of enlargement and you need the scale factor. B part of the question, which is the last part, it's asking us to, it says on the grid provided on page 10, draw the image of the shape P after a translation by the vector -2, 3. By the vector -2, 3. So the translation vector T being what? -2, 3 is telling me how to move the shape. The top value tells me how to move it horizontally. and the bottom value tells me how to move it vertically. Now, the fact that the top value is what? Negative, it means I must move the shape to the left. And the bottom value is positive, that means I must move the shape up. So to get to the image of P, which I'm going to label T, I must move P 2 units to the left and 3 units up. So let's do that. I'm going to just move a point. I'm going to move this point here. I'm going to move the point 2 units to the left. So it's 1, 2 units to the left, and 1, 2, 3 units up. That is going to become the image or the new position of that point. All right, and that new position is what? 411. So it's going to move to the point which is at 6, 8 is going to move to 411. 2 units to the left and 3 units up. So it's going to move to 411, which is here. Now, all I will simply do is just simply redraw the shape. After that, all I will simply do is redraw the shape. So 1 point, I just move 1 point and I'm going to redraw the shape. So let's see if this will recognize the shape. All right, if it doesn't, I'm going to draw it in pieces. All right, let's draw the first half. Nothing. Go again. Still nothing. Still no lightning. Right. That's good. I have 1 half. Let's get the other half. So all I did was simply redraw the shape. That's all. All right, and after I redraw it, I'm going to label it what? T. Now, after this, you can check all the points. So that is the last thing we're asked to do, is to translate the shape P using the translation vector -2, 3. The translation vector -2, 3 is telling me to move the shape 2 units to the left and 3 units up. All I did was just move 1 point, and that from that 1 point, I just redraw the shape. All right, and that I believe is the end of the question.